This video intends to provide an overview for the VAT payers of VAT Return Filing Procedures and does not represent exhaustive or legally binding guidelines. Visit the National Bureau for Revenue's website. Click on the NBR portal login. Log in with your user ID and password used during registration and filing the returns. Click on VAT Returns to view your outstanding filing obligations on the main page. Filter your outstanding VAT return forms by selecting Not Filed from the drop-down menu at the top right corner of the screen. Upon selecting the VAT return to be filed, you will be redirected to the instructions page for your review and acceptance. Only then you can move forward to the next step. Carefully review the VAT payer and return details and confirm that the information visible is correct. If the information is not correct, you may submit an application to update VAT registration details. On the top of the VAT return form, you must answer the questionnaire to proceed to the VAT return form, where fields will get displayed based on the provided answers. For more information on how to answer the questions, you may refer to the VAT Return Filing Manual applicable for VAT periods in 2022. Fill in the VAT return form by declaring appropriate amounts related to the VAT return period. The return form has lines related to the VAT payer's sales to customers, lines related to the VAT payer's purchases from suppliers, a column to fill in the relevant amounts in Bahraini dinar. All amounts filled in are exclusive of VAT. A column to fill in the adjustment or apportionment. For additional guidance, click on the question marks to display a brief explanation of the field. Line 1A outlines the total standard rated goods and services sold in the Kingdom of Bahrain at 10% during the current period, including goods and services sold to tourists. Line 1B outlines the total standard rated goods and services sold in the Kingdom of Bahrain at 5% during the current period, including goods and services sold to tourists. Line 2 covers sales to registered VAT payers in other GCC states. Line 3 summarizes the total standard rated sales made to domestic purchasers who are granted the right from NBR to apply the domestic reverse charge mechanism. Line 4 sums up the total zero-rated domestic sales supplied during the current period in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Line 5 is the total amount of standard-rated, zero-rated, and exempt goods and services exported outside the Kingdom of Bahrain during the current VAT period. Line 6 covers the total sales of goods and services that are exempted from VAT and sold during the current VAT period in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Line 7 automatically calculates the aggregated amounts of all three columns to reflect total supplies of goods and services, excluding VAT, total adjustments or apportionment, and the total VAT charge. Line 8A outlines the total value of VATable goods and services at the standard rate of 10% purchased in the Kingdom of Bahrain during the current period. Line 8B outlines the total value of VATable goods and services at the standard rate of 5% purchased in the Kingdom of Bahrain during the current period. Line 9A outlines the total value of imports of goods subject to VAT paid at customs at the standard rate of 10%. Line 9B outlines the total value of imports of goods subject to VAT paid at customs at the standard rate of 5%. Line 10 outlines the total value of imports of goods subject to deferral at customs under a grant by the NBR. Line 11A covers the total import subject to VAT accounted for through reverse charge mechanism at the standard rate of 10%. Line 11B covers the total import subject to VAT accounted for through reverse charge mechanism at the standard rate of 5%. Line 12 summarizes the total value of VATable goods and services at the standard rate purchased during the current period under a grant by the NBR on domestic reverse charge mechanism. Line 13 is the total value of goods and services purchased from non-registered suppliers, zero-rated, exempt purchases during the current period. Line 14 automatically calculates the aggregated amount of all three columns to reflect total purchases of goods and services, excluding VAT, total adjustments, or apportionment and total VAT incurred. Line 15 automatically calculates the total VAT due for the current period, which is the difference between the VAT due on sales and the total amount of VAT reclaimable on purchases. Line 16 highlights the specific VAT correction amount from previous VAT period between plus minus 5,000 Bahraini dinar due to a mistake originating from the VAT payer. Line 17 automatically calculate the total amount of credit in your VAT account from previous returns that has not been used to offset any outstanding liabilities or has not been refunded. Line 18 automatically calculates the total amount of VAT liability or credit for the current return. Any negative amount is a VAT credit that can either be refunded or carried forward to offset VAT liability for the subsequent periods. However, a positive amount is the liability that will have to be paid within the same filing period. After filing the VAT return, you may submit any additional information in the Additional Information section. For example, invoices, payment details, or customs declarations. If needed, additional information will be mandatory in case of self-amendment of previously submitted VAT return form. Once the return form is completed and agreed on the declaration, you will be able to submit the form or save it as a draft for review. Once the return form is submitted, you will be redirected to a page confirming the successful submission of the return. And download the Confirmation Receipt of VAT Return Letter. You should also receive an SMS and email confirming the submission of VAT return. For further information and inquiries related to VAT, you may contact the NBR through the available channels.